Author note. Chapter polishing. It all started as an average day for the students in Class A. Well sort of with one of them gone. It just wasn't the same, their minds were drifting. Everyone was quite even the usually loud ones. Nothing but the sound of pens hitting onto paper. Izuku Midoriya was bothered the most. He felt responsible Ochako got taken by villains. The girl he loved stood in front of him and he couldn't save her. He didn't even want to dare think of the things she could be going through. The burden of guilt raged inside him. He guilt-rated inside Izuku. He's the reason all of this happened. Why couldn't it be him instead of her? Why Ochako? She's too good for him. He blanked for a second and Ochako was gone. What kind of hero is he if he couldn't even save the one person in the world that mattered to him? He's failed again. Idiot. Dummy. The top of his pencil broke as he took a breath. Reached for another one when the bell rang. Izuku glanced back at Uraraka's desk, his heart crumbled. He shuffled his stuff together, headed out. The boy began the walk to his dorm. In an instant he was pushed to the side. Before Izuku could get a glimpse of who that person is, he noticed that he was transported outside. Sensing trouble, the One for All user powered up his quirk. In a fighting position, turning around, staying on guard, Asa Murray appeared out from a black portal. With a devilish smile he approached the lad. "Hello Midoriya. Remember when I said if you'd come after the girl I'd kill you? Well, change of plans. You don't have to anymore. She's perfectly fine with me, but I did leave off one detail. I was going to kill you all anyway." "Where is she? I swear if you hurt her I..." With one hand Murray used his quirk. Clutched his enemy down on the ground. The hero struggled in vain, having no control over himself. "You'll what? You have nothing against me, but I have everything against you. I have your girl. This timer in my hand controls a countdown to a computer in my lab. Counting down seconds before I expose your little secret. Oh, and I set your school on fire too." Deku aimed a smash on the lowlife's face. He rise up from below. He glared at the building now burning behind him. With a froze fearful look on his face. It was all coming down at once. Ua crumbling to the ground, nothing but chaos and screams. Asa Murray, the devious villain, laughed with joy as the heroes in training and the ones around them try to get each other to safety. Meanwhile him and Izuku Midoriya were having a one-on-one showdown. The greenette had no clue what set up the evil mon's sleeve. It chilled him with doubt. Yet Izuku wasn't about to back down. Not when everyone and everything is at risk. Izuku smashed the villain's face. They both landed on the ground. Murray chuckled and bit the boy's arm, forcing him to let go of Murray's chest. The villain knocked both their heads together. "Why your fights with me? Yet you involve the people I care about, even my school. All for power. Do you even know what you got yourself into? What are you playing at? You'll never get one for all. So please, surrender, let it end. It doesn't have to be this way." Murray threw the hero to the ground on his back, stinging him with a ray of red light. The anger burned inside him, his face never colder. "You're so useless you don't even get it. It's not about getting your stupid power anymore. It's for my brother, the life you took without hesitation. You call yourself a hero, but you ruined mine for the sake of others. I will never forgive you for that. What fight? I don't see much effort. You can't even control one for all. How dare you even call it your own? All Might would be very disappointed you shame him and his power. Which is why it shouldn't be trusted with a quirkless nobody like you. Story continues below. The last part astonished Izuku dumbstruck. What? No way. How could you possibly know? The man smirked, guarded one of the boys' move. He murmured past the agony, dropping to his knees. Murray forcibly grabbed Deku by the hair. Blood dripped at the top of on his face. That sent him a big headache. That you are quirkless. My whole family has been watching you. Ever since you ran into All Might after that sludge villain. We always had eyes on you, Midoriya. You just never knew. I had my resources up till you got into Ua, waiting for the perfect time to take you down, surprise. Then you got boring, so I found myself another catch. Ochako, I can see why you're all googly eyes for her. Just like that, Murray banged the greenette's body to the ground in an instant, fueling his quirk to take advantage of him. He used his arms. Midoriya tightened his hold on Murray's wrist. Izuku fired up, OFA standing on his feet. Leave her name out of your mouth. I did what I had to save the people I love. I understand you have your reasons as well. But seeking revenge is not the answer. Think about it. Would Hitachi really want that? The villain glared down at his feet. Cheers fell to the ground. He hit the ground and screamed. No, there is no turning back for me. I'll have to bring him justice. So stop trying to change my mind. You're just stalling because soon it will all be over. Murray coldly spat. His power ate up his whole body. Izuku detected his body giving into Murray's control. He felt so worn out, his vision scattered. Murray had the upper hand. Izuku fought a good fight. He's done what's expected of him. Still, it wasn't enough to save his friends. To Izuku, that belief will always haunt him. There's nothing he could do again. Useless Deku. What can you do? Maybe Kachan was right after all. Even now with OFA, he can't even save his friends. He's let them down again, and now there were no second chances. Then something else popped into his mind. I like Deku. It could make a good hero name. Meaning you can do it. Ochako. The person who's supported him from the start. She's the reason he owned that nickname. Now Ochako's his light of hope. The one who keeps him sane. He had to be sturdy for her and everyone else. They're relying on him to tame this guy down. He refused to let it end like this way. Deku activated OFA and focused his energy on his fingertips. He broke a finger that freed the villain's hold. How? What did you do? Something I can only do with this power. Even if I was quirkless. I am chosen. This power chose me. He chose me. That's why I'm going to win and save everyone. Deku landed on top of him, giving another smash. He forced Murray's hand open and grasped the timer. When he attempted to make his next move, his body snatched to a glowing pink rope shielding his attack, hurling him forcefully to ground. She captured the timer in her hands. Ew, so you're the brat we need to get rid of. What are you smiling about? You the one who's outnumbered. Story continues below. The girl coldly insulted. He'd recognize her voice anywhere. Izuku swung around to see Ochako. She looked really different. She wore a black suit. Her brown eyes were tinted. He has her under his control. This wasn't going to be simple. The lad analyzed the situation. He went up to her, maintaining his distance. Izuku caught himself off guard. The moment they connected, he wanted to take her in his arms desperately. That's what the villain would want. The strategy of the situation. clang to Izuku's chest like a piece of his heart got ripped apart. Ochako's in trouble again and he let that happen. Now he doesn't know if he'll get her back. Still, Izuku wasn't going to back down, even if the odds were against him. No matter what, he'll bring her home. It's my fault you're like this. Ochako, I know you're in there. Listen to me, you gotta wake up and fight. Izuku clenched her shoulder. He anticipated to attain her attention. None of his words crossed her mind. Ochako laughed and spun around. Loladita. Izuku had to get Ochako to her senses somehow. However, with what? Every moment Izuku hesitated as a minute Ochako sank deeper into that trance. Getting farther away from him, all of them. Sacrificing everything she's worked so hard for. It killed him witnessing her like this. Sheesh, it's not me you have to worry about. You're the one who's almost out of time, tick-tock, sweetie. The school. The greenette dashed back toward the building, to be blocked by an invisible wall. He punched, the force field bounced back. Crap, I'll never forgive myself if... Ochako used her quick against Izuku, sending the boy off into mid-air. Flopping him back, the ground scratches covered his face. Izuku stood wobbly, his fists pointed out. Maybe if he could speak to her without fighting, reminding Ochako of the goodness in her life will awake something. There's still a way to save her. Deku then spoke from the heart. Uraraka, snap out of it. You're a hero, not a villain. I know who the real you is. The real Ochako is brave and smart, kind and honest. Not this mystery girl in front of me, Ochako. It's Deku, your Deku. Remember me, us. Murray mocked, blowing his bottom lip. You really think she still cares? She's gone and you're an idiot. Finish him off, Ochako dear. If you'd gladly do the honors. Her eyes stopped glowing for a moment. The smirk on her face faded. Deku fell on his feet, squatting to break his fall. The brunette positioned her hands on her head. I do, how could I forget? She smiled and hugged him. The boy sighed in relief and did the same back. Before he knew it, a zap hit his forehead, making Izuku bleed. He grunted on his knees. You heroes are so gullible. I hate you. Why do I want to ever remember a life with you? Ochako rolled her eyes and knelt toward Izuku. She took out her pokey knife, creasing his face with it. Her arm tightened, wrapped around his neck. Story continues below. Izuku never underestimated Ochako's strength. Even when they would spar, he'd let her win purposely. This was a real fight now, so he didn't hesitate. Now for the finishing touch. Izuku activated Air Force to block her comeback. Ochako then floated herself and striked in. She swung the knife on the boy's face. Ochako's arm is hauled by Izuku himself. He enforced the knife in him. He clung to her shoulders, glancing in her eyes. She gasped with no words. I know you don't mean any of that. Listen to my voice and focus on me, Ochako. I'm never giving up on you. I've lost you countless times. I don't ever want to lose you. So go ahead, do whatever you want. I'm not going anywhere, because I love you. He kissed her, the knife dropped to the ground. Ochako stumbled safely into Izuku's arms. Deku, I'm so glad. I thought I'd never see you again. I heard you every word. I love you too. Thank you for not giving up on me. There are so many things I want to say. Shocked, the greenette glacéd to her now big brown eyes. Me too, Ochako. I'll never let you go again. They embraced and stayed like that for a moment. Something they've both craved for days. I think I'm going to barf. I'm so mad right now I don't know what to do. I know. I'll just control both of you. It'll be over before you know it. Murray powered his quirk. Izuku positioned his arm over Ochako. Turning protective boyfriend mode on, he held her close as they prepared to fight. It didn't work on me. Don't you understand? It's all just going to be a draw. Stay back, Ochako. It's too dangerous for you to be near him. I can always try something else on you. Possession isn't my only quirk. I wouldn't be a Unagi if I wasn't. The villain got closer to them. About to power a different quirk. When he couldn't, he wondered why. Only make eye contact with Aizawa. Alright, that's quite enough. Eraserhead demanded along with him. The other members of Class A. The one for all user weakly smiled. At the sight of his classmates and sensei. Mr. Aizawa, everyone, you're all okay, thank goodness. Duh, of course we are. Didn't think you'd lose me too soon, you DANM nerd. Stop thinking you can win this on your own. None of this self-sacrificing shit that happened on the island. Y'all got it. Bakugo explained. In the most calmest state he's been in. The rest of the class nodded. Like it or not, you're stuck with us. I'm sorry I couldn't offer my help earlier. But know that I am here now as class representative and your friend. Ida added in. Ida. Kachan. Guys, I don't know what to say. Enough. You all irritate me so much. When the man tried to take hold of his quirk, he struggled to for a second. You are just so cool, aren't you? Eraserhead. Story continues below. It was like he was untouched and had no reaction. Everyone was shocked as their fear rose. Aizawa knocked to the ground. The top of his head now bleeding. Eraserhead. No. Izuku got out distracted. He gripped the villain's wrists to the ground. Giving a smash landing the villain to the ground. OFA flowed graciously through him. The hero glanced back at his classmates and sensei. Worry filled his mind. Yaoyorozu eased his concern with assurance. Midoriya, we'll take care of this, don't worry. Now go, we believe in you. If anything, we have your back. She created a mini tent with her quirk. Thanks, Yaoyorozu. Deku bowed in agreement. He had to trust his classmates. This is what they have been training for since forever. They were all UA Hero Course students after all. Besides, he had something bigger to finish. That would either save or demolish everything. Murray stood up and his eyes red, activating his quirk. Deku couldn't move, he was glued to the ground. Therefore no access to his quirk. His warm emerald green eyes meet with Murray's cold red ones. Don't resist the darkness. Come on, Midoriya, don't you want to get back at these people who never gave you a chance in the first place? Without your quirk, you're nothing to them. A person with your strategy would be the perfect villain. All Might said it that day. Remember, you can't be a hero without a quirk. The one for all users' eyes became a dark green. He was under the villain's control by his emotions. Hearing those words really bothered Izuku. It's like pouring salt in a wound.